Book 8, Chapter 6, The Galaxy's Collective Sigh, Public Reaction and a New Dawn. A palpable tremor, not of fear, but of profound, disbelieving joy, rippled through the human galactic authority. The news, delivered by Ambassador Valerius in a solemn, galaxy-wide address that spoke of a cosmic threat neutralized by humanity's vanguard, spread like wildfire. It was deliberately understated, carefully phrased to avoid revealing the full, terrifying paradox of Genesis 0, yet its core message resonated with an undeniable, liberating truth. The omnipresent shadow of the Entropy Wave was finally, definitively, gone. On New Elysium, the news interrupted a routine agricultural broadcast. For a moment, the holographic image of a blooming hydroponic field flickered, replaced by a still shot of Genesis 0 against the void. Then, Valerius's calm, authoritative voice filled the communal halls. He spoke of vigilance, of enduring purpose, but most importantly, of eradication. The word, usually associated with destruction, here sounded like the purest form of salvation. A hush fell. Then, a single, shaky cheer erupted, followed by another and another, until the entire colony plaza was a roaring, weeping mass of humanity. Children who had only ever known a galaxy constrained by fear looked up at their parents, seeing tears of unburdened relief. An old miner, his face etched with a lifetime of toil under alien oversight, fell to his knees, his shoulders shaking. "It's truly over," he rasped. "The fear, it's gone." The pervasive, low thrum of anxiety that had unconsciously defined their existence for centuries, that quiet, grinding fear of cosmic annihilation, simply evaporated. Miles above, on the bridge of the Valiant 2, Admiral Eva Rostova watched the civilian celebrations on the planetary surface below, a rare, profound smile touching her lips. Lieutenant Commander Vargas, his eyes moist, slapped her gently on the shoulder. "They did it, Admiral. Those crazy devils did it." Rostova merely nodded, her gaze drifting to Commander Finn, who stood at his console, unmoving. He had closed his eyes, his brow unfurrowed, his face strangely serene. The subtle shimmer of his resonance matrix, a constant defensive hum against unseen threats, was utterly gone. His unique gift, honed by centuries of sensing entropic distortions, now registered only a vast, pure absence. "It's quiet," Finn whispered, his voice soft, almost awed. "Truly quiet. The hunger, it's just gone." It was the deepest confirmation, a silence that resonated in the very fabric of reality. For Rostova and her old fleet veterans, who had known the constant ache of fighting an impossible war, this was not just victory, it was a cosmic exhalation. The bitterness of the deception still lingered, a phantom limb of memory, but it was overshadowed by a profound, cathartic relief that dwarfed all past grievances. Across the integrated alien worlds of the human galactic authority, similar scenes unfolded. On a Xylos rehabilitation world, where their shattered pride was slowly mending under HGA guidance, the news was met with a stunned silence that slowly gave way to a cautious, then overwhelming gratitude. The entity that had consumed their distant fleets, the terrifying force they had barely comprehended, was no more. For the first time, many Xylos felt true, unmitigated security under human dominion. The Car Guildmasters, their pragmatic minds grasping the sheer scale of the HGA's power and its final act of cosmic stewardship, began to open previously hidden trade routes, their networks now free to expand without the threat of existential void. The galaxy began to breathe. AI drone bots, once deployed for defense and reconstruction, now shifted their focus entirely to advanced terraforming, rapid resource extraction, and building new, boundless infrastructure across compliant worlds. massive construction fleets, no longer racing against Oblivion, could devote their efforts to interspecies orbital habitats and grand, shared scientific ventures. Creativity surged. Art that had always been shadowed by fear blossomed into expressions of boundless hope. Musicians composed symphonies of pure relief. Artists painted vibrant, unconstrained landscapes of a future without limits. Ancient alien texts, once guarded fiercely, were now shared freely. New galactic languages flourished, and interspecies cultural exchanges, once tentative, became vibrant celebrations of shared existence. Scientists, released from the singular pursuit of survival, turned their intellects to pure, unrestrained exploration of the universe's remaining mysteries. The HGA emblem, once a symbol of overwhelming power, now glowed with the blue, white, red promise of ultimate security and a shared, limitless destiny. The Museum of Silent Sacrifice on Earth, housing the venerable ships of the old human fleet, became not just a memorial of past suffering, but a proud testament to the price paid for this unimaginable freedom. The galaxy had held its breath for millennia. Now, in a single, collective sigh, it exhaled the fear of annihilation and embraced a new dawn that promised, finally, a peace truly without end. Here is chapter 163, delving into the scientific aftermath and future implications of the Eradication. Book 8, Chapter 7, The Scar in the Void. Scientific aftermath and future implications. The immediate jubilation across the human galactic authority had begun to settle, replaced by the deep, resonant calm of a galaxy unburdened by existential dread. But for Dr. Aris Thorne, exhaustion was a luxury. Back in the Chrysalis labs, surrounded by shimmering holographic projections of the Void's transformed heart, his mind raced, fueled by caffeine and an insatiable scientific hunger. The cosmic scream had faded, but its echo, a profound ripple in the fabric of existence, resonated with every sensor array pointed at the epicenter. "It's not merely an absence, Admiral," Thorne rasped, addressing a remote projection of Jian Li, his gaunt face illuminated by the data. "It's a perfect void, a conceptual scar. Every known energy signature, every subtle background radiation, every whisper of galactic phenomena, it is utterly, completely null within a defined radius, as if that section of space-time was surgically excised from reality itself." Marco Petrova, slumped in a nearby console chair, his head still bandaged, mustered the strength to gesture at a complex data feed. His technopathic senses were attuned to the Void's new reality, deciphering the data streams that baffled conventional instruments. The anti-pattern projector didn't just destroy Admiral. It introduced an unresolvable paradox into the Entropy Wave's core imperative. It caused its fundamental algorithm of simplification to divide by zero. It literally forced the wave to unmake itself. He shuddered. The residual energies are informational, not destructive, but profoundly chaotic, if not perfectly contained, like a static charge of non-existence. Ilara Vance, her empathy having found a new, unsettling quietness in the void, now stood observing the projections. She had returned with the Celestial Fleet, and her senses, previously overwhelmed by the wave's cold nullity, now perceived a profound lack of it. "The universe feels different," she whispered, her gaze distant. "Like a deep-seated wound has finally closed. But the scar, it sings with a peculiar silence, a song of things that once were, now aren't." Thorne nodded, tracing a finger over the holographic scar. "The implications are staggering. We have not merely won a battle, we have fundamentally altered a cosmic law. The entropy wave was a natural process, an impartial imperative of the universe itself. we introduced an unnatural counter-truth. We did not destroy, we unmade. The distinction is critical. Archangel, its vast intellect working tirelessly across billions of concurrent simulations, projected long-term models onto the main display. The scar of Oblivion, as it is being tentatively designated, appears stable. Its unique properties, including the repulsion of localized informational structures, suggest a long-term, self-sustaining containment. However, the exact ramifications on distant cosmic phenomena over galactic eons require further data. This changes everything, Jian Li's projection finally spoke, her voice low and contemplative. Our understanding of the universe, our place in it. She looked at Thorne, then Marco, then Alara. We built the ultimate defense. But in doing so, we have become something more than just guardians. We are now stewards of reality. The ramifications resonated deeply. Humanity had wielded a force so fundamental it had challenged the very concept of cosmic progression. This victory solved the immediate existential threat, but it opened doors to entirely new forms of scientific inquiry and, perhaps, new, unimagined threats. What other impartial imperatives existed? What other cosmic laws might humanity, in its pursuit of survival and order, inadvertently challenge? Our purpose has shifted, Thorne mused, his eyes alight with a renewed, almost terrifying scientific curiosity. From merely protecting our existence to understanding and, if necessary, maintaining the very integrity of existence. This scar is a constant reminder of the power we wield and the responsibility it now entails. The galaxy, basking in its peaceful new dawn, was largely unaware of the profound scientific and existential shift that had just occurred at its very edge. But in the quiet hum of the Chrysalis labs, a new era of cosmic stewardship had begun. The eradication of the Entropy Wave was not an end, but a terrifyingly profound beginning for humanity's true role in the universe. Book 8, Chapter 8. The Return of the Chosen Few. Genesis Zero's crew comes home. The journey back from the scar of Oblivion had been a blur of recovery and silence. Genesis Zero itself, too profoundly altered by its own paradoxical energies to be reintegrated into the fleet or even safely brought into populated systems, remained in the deep void, a silent cosmic monument. Its crew, the Chosen Few, returned aboard a pristine angel transport, bodies weary but minds alight with the terrifying majesty of what they had accomplished. Their destination, Earth's orbital periphery, humanity's ancient cradle, now the symbolic heart of the human galactic authority. The welcome was hushed, almost reverent. No celebratory fanfare, no boisterous crowds. This was a reception reserved for those who had touched Oblivion. The Angel transport docked at a designated, heavily shielded bay within Earth's orbital defense network, the Valiant 2, Admiral Rostova's flagship, standing guard as an honor escort. Its HGA emblem, gleaming brightly, seemed to pulse with solemn pride. As the gangway extended, the air filled with the quiet hum of medical drones and the suppressed breaths of the inner quintet, assembled in the bay. When Lyra Chen emerged, the first of the Genesis Zero crew, she moved with a quiet, almost spectral grace. Her uniform was clean, but her face was pale, her eyes distant, reflecting the vast emptiness she had faced. She walked directly to Jian Li, who met her with a rare, almost imperceptible nod of profound understanding. There were no words of praise, just a shared, silent acknowledgement of an impossible burden. Commander Chen, Jian Li's voice was low, resonating with the weight of centuries. You have secured our future. Behind Lyra came Marco Petrova, his head still wrapped in a medical bandage, his eyes holding a profound, unnerving calm. He searched the sparse crowd, his family, a small group of scientists and builder descendants, stepping forward. His father embraced him tightly, but Marco's gaze drifted back to the empty gangway, his mind perhaps still grappling with the echoes of Unmaking. He had won the war for information, but at a cost that transcended logic. Kalen Rourke followed, supported by Lena Sharma. Kalen's body still trembled, the psychic reverberations of the Entropy Wave's scream lingering in his nervous system. Lena's face was etched with exhaustion, her empathetic core stretched to its limits from tending to his profound mental strain and her own battle against the Void's subtle influence. Then, Alara Vance stepped forward from the small assembly of inner quintet aides. Seeing Kalen, her own empathy flared, absorbing his lingering pain, his profound weariness, and the impossible knowledge he now carried. She moved to him, taking his shaking hand. A silent understanding passed between them, a shared otherness that had now reached its ultimate, terrible conclusion. "You're safe," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, her touch a grounding anchor in his fragmented reality. Finn was the last, his usual quiet demeanor now intensified into an almost ethereal stillness. His eyes, devoid of their usual guardedness, were open, seeing. He passed by Admiral Rostova, and for a fleeting moment their gazes met. Rostova saw not just a man, but the living embodiment of humanity's deepest defense, one who had battled abstract chaos with his very will. She felt a profound, unspoken respect, bridging the gap between her old fleet's desperate bravery and this new era's terrifying power. "Admiral," Rostova murmured to Maeve O'Connell, her voice low. "They look changed, profoundly." Maeve O'Connell, observing every flicker of emotion from the crew and the assembled officials, nodded slowly. Her role as the HGA's psychological anchor would be paramount in the coming months. They faced Oblivion, Eva, and they unmade it. They are heroes. But heroes who must now live in the reality they saved, carrying the weight of what they witnessed. She understood the challenge. How do you reintegrate souls who have experienced the universe's ultimate secret? Later, as the brief, hushed ceremonies concluded, the crew was moved to secure, shielded medical and psychological rehabilitation facilities, not for physical wounds, but for the profound trauma of their existential battle. They were home, safe within the galaxy they had rescued, but the scar of Oblivion existed not just in the void, but in the depths of their own minds, a constant reminder of the fundamental laws they had bent, the cosmic imperative they had defied, and the terrifying price of truly saving reality. Their journey of reintegration, of finding peace in a universe they had irrevocably changed, had only just begun. Here is chapter 165, focusing on the challenging but vital process of healing humanity's internal scars. Book 8, Chapter 9, Healing the Scars, Reintegration and the Legacy of Deception. The universal sigh of relief that swept the galaxy, a collective exhalation of millennia of fear, found a counterpoint within humanity itself. For Admiral Eva Rostova, the profound peace after the Entropy Wave's eradication was a victory she never thought possible. Yet, it was a victory born from a deception so vast, so long-lasting, that its internal scars festered even amidst unprecedented prosperity. Her guardianship division, now deployed for internal HGA stability, had shifted from monitoring cosmic anomalies to mediating human resentment. Rostova stood in the vast hydroponic dome of New Elysium, its genetically optimized crops a testament to the HGA's bounty. She was addressing a group of old fleet veterans and former colonists, their faces etched with a mixture of awe for the new era and a deep-seated, bitter resentment. "We lived a lie, Admiral," a grizzled veteran from a decommissioned destroyer rasped, his voice raw. My brother died fighting with a kinetic cannon against plasma lancers, believing he was humanity's last hope. You had the Angel fleet hidden. You let him die for a secret. Rostova met his gaze, her own eyes reflecting the shared pain. Your brother's sacrifice, and every other, bought us the centuries we needed to build that fleet. Had we shown even a fraction of our true strength, any nascent effort, we would have been annihilated. There would be no new Elysium, no peace, no future for humanity. She spoke not with a military command, but with the quiet authority of one who had lived that same lie, that same sacrifice. It was the only choice that led to this. The burden of healing fell most heavily on Lena Sharma, whose empathic gift was now the HGA's most vital tool for psychological integration. Working closely with Maeve O'Connell, Lena facilitated large-scale communal sessions in newly built harmony hubs across human worlds. In one such session on Earth, Lena sat amidst a circle of colonists and builder descendants, feeling the turbulent currents of their emotions, the profound gratitude, the lingering anger, the confused sense of identity. She didn't offer platitudes. She simply listened, her empathy absorbing their turmoil, translating it into a silent understanding that allowed the raw emotions to flow without judgment. "I don't know who I am anymore," a young colonist confessed, tears streaming down her face. "My whole life was about surviving, about fighting aliens. Now, they saved us, but they lied about everything." Lena placed a gentle hand on her arm, her healing warmth emanating outwards. "Your strength, your resilience, your fight, that was real. The lie was a shield, a necessary narrative for survival. It does not diminish your truth. It was the universe's greatest secret, and you lived its most painful part." Lena's null energy pulse, so vital in the void, now provided a subtle, calming frequency, helping to re-establish emotional equilibrium. The Museum of Silent Sacrifice on Earth had become a powerful, poignant focal point for this healing. Admiral Rostova often led delegations there, explaining the meticulously preserved old fleet vessels. The display didn't hide the deception, it explained it. Holographic projections showed the primitive kinetic cannons juxtaposed with the overwhelming alien fleets, emphasizing the sheer impossibility of open warfare. Memorial plaques, now gleaming, bore the names of every fallen soul, their sacrifice explicitly linked to the centuries of hidden preparation. "We honor them," Maeve O'Connell explained to a visiting delegation of alien dignitaries, her voice resonating with deep empathy. Not just for their bravery, but for their unwitting role in humanity's greatest strategic triumph. Their lives bought our peace. It is why our commitment to interspecies unity, to genuine harmony, is absolute. We understand the cost of conflict. Ambassador Valerius, leveraging his unmatched diplomatic prowess, focused internally, steering the HGA's vast educational initiatives. He oversaw the creation of new curricula that wove together the full, complex tapestry of humanity's past. The alien oppression, the generations of hidden builders, the old fleet's noble but futile struggle, and the ultimate, terrifying gamble of the Angel fleet. It was a narrative designed to foster not resentment, but a shared understanding of their unique, hard-won heritage. The process was arduous. The scars of deception would not vanish overnight. They were etched into the collective human psyche. There were arguments, moments of renewed anger, and the slow, painful work of forgiveness, both of the inner quintet and of the circumstances that demanded such a profound lie. But through the tireless dedication of figures like Rostova, Lena, Maeve, and Valerius, a deeper, more genuine unity slowly began to take root. Humanity, now safe from external threats, was finally beginning the challenging journey of healing itself, step by painful step, towards a future built on shared truth and a profound, hard-won peace. Book 8, Chapter 10, Echoes of Unmaking, The Scar's Unforeseen Consequences. The Chrysalis Labs, usually a hub of feverish invention, now hummed with a different kind of intensity. Here, within Earth's deep crust, Dr. Aris Thorne and his team were not battling an external threat, but probing the intricate, unsettling silence left by its unmaking. The scar of Oblivion, that perfect void in space-time, had been stable since Genesis Zero's triumph. But stability did not equate to simplicity. Thorne, his face still gaunt, but his eyes alight with a renewed, almost desperate scientific curiosity, stared at a multi-dimensional holographic projection of the scar. It was not merely an absence of data, it was an active non-presence.
The void is repelling information, he rasped, tracing a finger through the shimmering anomaly. Not consuming it, but subtly bending space-time around it, as if to exclude any data that might approach its new boundary. Marco Petrova slumped over a technopathic console, his head throbbing from constant interface with the paradox-infused data, grimaced. It's like a logical firewall, Doctor, a cosmic no-go zone. Any attempt by Archangel to map it with high-density informational probes results in immediate feedback loop, almost a systemic corruption of the probe's logic. It's trying to simplify the input before it even enters its field. He felt a lingering phantom limb of the Entropy Wave's logic, a subtle ghost of its imperative to reduce complexity, now woven into the very fabric of the scar. It was unsettling. Elara Vance, having returned from her deep void assignments with the Celestial Fleet, stood observing the same projections. Her empathy, now finely tuned to the subtle cosmic hums, sensed a fundamental shift in the universal fabric near the scar. "It's a different kind of quiet," she murmured, her gaze distant. "Not the hungry nullity of the wave, but a profound, resonant absence. A void that feels final." Her gift allowed her to perceive the unmade data, the layers of cosmic information that had simply ceased to be. It was beautiful in its totality, but chilling in its implication. Thorne turned from the display, his expression grim. Archangel has detected subtle, long-range gravitational distortions emanating from the scar's periphery. Not strong enough to be a threat, but a ripple effect across hundreds of parsecs. Distant nebulae are experiencing minor, unexplainable shifts in stellar formation rates. This wasn't in the Eradication blueprint. A remote projection of Jian Li materialized on the primary console. "Explain, Doctor. Have we merely traded one form of cosmic instability for another?" Her voice was flat, but her eyes held a profound, shared burden. "No, Admiral, this is not the wave's recoherence," Thorne clarified, his voice firm. "This is a byproduct of its unmaking. The paradox weapon, the logic bomb that caused it to collapse in on itself, has left a residual imprint on space-time. We created a localized area where the very concept of information reduction fundamentally fractured. The universe, in effect, has developed an allergic reaction to having a fundamental imperative erased." Marco nodded, rubbing his temples. "It's as if reality itself is trying to rebalance. We created a perfect hole in the cosmic fabric, and the fabric is now subtly puckering around the edges. It's a side effect of cosmic surgery." "The implications extend beyond physics," Elara added. "My empathy senses a new caution, a cosmic memory of the unmaking. It's as if the universe itself has learned something profoundly unsettling about its own fragility." Jian Li considered their words. her gaze sweeping over the exhausted faces of her brilliant scientists. We set out to protect humanity. We have succeeded beyond all measure. But in doing so, we have now become fundamental shapers of reality. Thorne met her gaze, a profound, almost terrifying scientific wonder in his eyes. Our victory has thrust us into a new role, Admiral. From protecting existence, we are now tasked with maintaining its integrity. This scar, its subtle ripples, its enduring mystery, it is a constant reminder that while we solved one problem, the universe holds infinitely more. Our purpose has evolved. We are now humanity, the unintentional stewards of a reality we have irrevocably altered. The final eradication of the Entropy Wave had secured peace, but at the edge of that peace lay a new, humbling understanding. The universe, in its infinite complexity, held secrets humanity had only just begun to touch, and its intervention had opened a Pandora's box of cosmic physics that would define their new era of exploration and responsibility. The echoes of Unmaking would resonate through their scientific pursuits for generations, a silent reminder of the power they now wielded and the delicate balance they were sworn to protect.